there was a conference in 2008. It was after the conference that we started writing this book. The conference, I mean, Coase wanted to have this conference because he thought he didn't understand what's going on in China.
Do you mean the first one or the second one?
The first one, the one in 2008.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, he's a very humble man.
And he put his money and also got help from the University of Chicago Business School, Law School, and I don't maybe some other centers on campus on Chicago to help us with this conference. And I think it's a great success. We got a lot of people from China, professors, business people, government officials. It's a week-long conference. And after that conference, we were approached by IEA, the Institute of Economic Affairs, originally the idea was to write a paper, basically to summarize, the ideas emerged during that conference. And then when we started writing that, I went back to my, old files. So it still says IEA paper on China. And then it just, we cannot do that in a paper. So gradually evolved into a book.
Wow. So it was like a paper that it got expanded and taking much longer and becoming a 272 pages book.
Correct.
And also the workshop in 2010. Like, was it also like you and Professor Coase thinking, well, let's have another go at it and bring some more expert in? What was that?
Right. Okay, yeah. By that time, our book, the first draft was done, and we wanted to hear some comments. And this workshop was, in a way, was not a continuation of the 2008 conference, since the goal was quite different. The 2008 conference was focused on it's an attempt to understand what's going on in China. The 2010 conference the workshop was more about what economics should do in the next 50, 100 years. Professor Coase, as you know, had a very different view of where economics should go. And that workshop was a start to ask those questions. And of course, in the context, and Coase was a very empirical economist, so we wanted to raise those questions and debate those questions in some context, and we chose China. So again, we invited a lot of I think 2/3 of the participants are Chinese economists, and of course we have people from here. And to talk about, Professor Coase had this idea, the study of the structure of production was a good entry point to study how the economic system works. That's why we have that title for the workshop. We have to go back to our relation with, or Professor Coase's relationship with IEA. That's the institute that published Steve Chong's pamphlet, "Will China Go Capitalist?" Professor Coase was associated with that institute from the very beginning.
I see.
But he was asked a number of times to write something for IEA, and he never did. So he thought, so he thought he should do something for IEA. And then, he was approached by IEA after our conference. And of course, Steve gave a talk at the conference. And just very naturally, we want to take up that theme, Steve had a great title, "Will China Go Capitalist?"
Right.
Yeah, that's how basically we picked our title. that was a pure accident, and I guess it just was my luck. At that time, I was working on my thesis. I was in this program. It's a pretty weird program. It's called Committee on Human Development. It's many the faculty there, many from psychology, but there were also people from like political science, anthropology, education, sociology. So it's we call it cross-disciplinary program. So that allowed me to give me basically total freedom to take courses in anything.
Oh, wow.
So and then the reason I guess how I got into to know Professor Coase was, of course, I saw him before I met with him and talked person to person. I saw him a number of times on campus. At that time, he already retired, but he came to campus occasionally, for some conference, things like that. And
by the way, that was late 1990s or the early 2000s.
I started to work for Professor Coase as his research assistant in 1998.
98.
Yeah, we met the first day. I still remember that very well. That's the first day of May. We met at the Italian Village, this restaurant in downtown Chicago. And before that, he had previously he had a research assistant, from the law school, of course. And that gentleman, I think, graduated, so he was looking for another one. Usually, he would just go to the law school and ask them to find another research assistant for him. If he did that, I would not be here today.
Yeah, right.
Instead, he gave a call to his previous, another research assistant that I think maybe 20 years ago. She was at Chicago. And it happened to be the case that she was my boss at that time. I had a part-time job working at it's called the NOC, National Opinion Research Center at the University of Chicago. And so she said, this great Professor Coase wanted a research assistant. Are you interested?
Wow.
Of course. So that's how I met Professor Coase, basically.